Hello, everyone. Elizabeth Hefner, Ruby Ambassador here. I'm so excited to be starting out our Monday night call on this is November 5th, 2018. And I'm so excited to have Erin McIntyre on here, who is recently Senior Gold Ambassador and so awesome at recruiting. So it's always good to hear new ideas and other people's perspectives and how they have been successful with recruiting, because that is something that's so important, is going to continue to build our business, is to continually recruit. And you just never know who is going to be the next rock star and who is going to be just super excited to share and continue on their business. And it's so fun to see Erin do this business, because she is busy and she's working and she's juggling these two beautiful little boys, and she still manages to just make it all happen. And she has a lot of really great, insightful things to say, because we were talking last night, and I just love hearing her ideas and the things that have helped her be successful. So Erin McIntyre, we both live here in Michigan, and I live downstate. I live like 20 minutes, 30 minutes south of Flint, and she lives way up in the UP, like pretty close to Wisconsin. So even though we're both in Michigan, we're like 8 hours away from one another. So it's kind of crazy. We had to go on a cruise to the Bahamas and actually to meet one another in person. So she has such a big heart for people. She has a lot of influence. When she joined under my team, she just really started to show a lot of natural influence and natural excitement to help others, to share something that she loves. She has an amazing smile and she has an amazing heart. She has amazing belief in these products and amazing passion to help others, as well as belief in this business, and has really just caught that vision and has been running with it ever since. So I'm going to let Erin introduce herself a little bit more and tell us her testimony too.
All right, I see you unmuted me. Hi, everybody. It's so awesome to see so many awesome people on here, especially some people that I haven't seen on here before. So that's really exciting. As Elizabeth introduced me, I'm Erin McIntyre. I'm Senior Gold, just recently became Senior Gold. I've been with Plexus since January 19th of this year, and basically I hopped on board because my infant and we had a thrush infection after a bout of mastitis and antibiotics, and we had this infection for over 6 weeks, couldn't get rid of it. When I jumped on board, I had about $200 to my name. My husband was unemployed. His unemployment check hadn't come in the mail, so he was like, don't you get any Plexus? And I put it on the credit card, and when it came in the mail, he was like, wait, I didn't think that you were getting this Plexus. And I kind of just told him, don't worry, I'm going to get my products paid for, or after this works, I'm going to just be done with it. And that's kind of like where my thoughts were at first. So it's really funny how far I've gone from that point. But basically, I jumped on board to get rid of the thrush and started noticing right away all the awesome changes that were happening to me, like reduced allergies and energy and just reduced insomnia, so many awesome things. And I started sharing right away because I wanted to get my products paid for and I wanted to help people. I had started to build belief. I am green in some ways. I started researching, watching videos, watching a lot of you who are jumping on this call now. And I would just be in my car, just putting it in the audio jack. That's how I learned. And I just started sharing boldly right away. So here I am.
Yes, and just think how much money you saved preserving your nursing relationship rather than having to end it and do formula or something. Like,
oh yeah,
Plexus is way cheaper to pay for over a month than formula would have been. So that's amazing. And I had a similar story when I sort of, like, after I weaned my baby, and she was over a year old, but I had a horrible ductal yeast infection that I couldn't get rid of. And after I weaned her, I started seeing these posts pop up about Plexus, and I'm like, oh man, I know that would have worked for me. I know it would have worked. So it was kind of a bummer, but it was okay. She was older and all of that. So I'm so thrilled. It like really speaks to my heart that you were able to preserve that relationship and and beat it, you know, that's huge. That is a huge testimony in itself. So yes, and you'll have to check out Erin's before and after pictures. Her inflammation went down a ton. You can see she's not a big girl. You know, she's a small person, and she was just poofy, you know, so that is amazing to see as well. Yeah, so tell us how you have just recruited people. How have you used your natural influence? How have you been encouraging to people to help them start this journey?
Yeah, so I just started sharing right away. I feel like sometimes people are really reluctant to share right away because they're like, well, I haven't tried these products out yet. I want to have my own story before I start sharing. And in my world, I'm like, no, people want to hear your story. They want to know where you are. They want you to be vulnerable and tell them where you started and what your goals are and what you're hoping to happen with this. And so I just started sharing boldly right away. Yes, because I wanted to get my products paid for, but also because I wanted to help others. You know, my dad was one of the first people I called. Dad, I really think this can help you. I'm so excited about this. Let me tell you about this. And so I just started boldly sharing. And I would say that one of the things that has made me successful is just with kind of creative posting, I would say. I think Debbie Wynn a while back was like, you need to make a video on creative posting. And I didn't even realize that my posts were creative, but I think that I just authentically have been myself with my sharing, and I've just tried to be really bold and be an authentic influencer. So we talked a little bit about that on our cruise, about being authentic influencers and just being ourselves. I try not to be salesy with my posts. I try not to use the words plexus, plexus, plexus all the time because I don't want to feel like I'm jamming it down people's throat or like I'm being really salesy. So I'll tend to say things like pink fuel or these natural supplements or these potent products or something like that, rather than having people kind of float past my posts like they're an advertisement. And I do think, you know, of course, awesome selfies of ourselves help too, in terms of rather just posting just a picture of the product or something like that, because I think people just want to see you, and you know, people are kind of attracted to you a little bit versus just being attracted to the product. They're attracted to a lifestyle. They're attracted to just the influence that you're providing. Oh gosh, Nicole Spellman says she loves my selfies. That makes me happy. So I just wanted to kind of say that and share boldly. And then also don't be afraid to share the financial opportunity too, because people need the financial opportunity. So I just kind of wanted to start out with that. And in terms of my advice with how I recruited people, honestly, I was talking to Elizabeth about this, and the 1 month that I think I had like 10 joins was because I woke up one morning and I was just like, dear Jesus, help me grow. And I believed in myself. I had a momentum and a growth mindset, and I believed that I could do it. And even with the cruise, I think I earned it like maybe mid-month in the last month. But the reason that I earned it is because I woke up one day and was like, I am going to get on this cruise ship. And I just had a growth mindset. And I can tell you when I don't grow in my business, it's because that is wavering in myself. And any time that I've grown, it's because I believed in myself. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I think people can kind of sense whether you're sharing with them boldly and whether you're sharing with them from like a caring heart, or whether you're not maybe being genuine, or whether you're not in the right mindset too. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up as well. And I also wanted to mention that follow-up is really key. So I've had some people who are like, hey, you know, I reached out to this person and they ignored me, or they're interested, but they're not really interested right now. And I just write those people's names down on a list. And it's not because I'm stalking them. It's because I care about them and I want them to experience the joy of these products. I want them to experience the financial opportunity that Plexus provides. And so I write their name down and I follow up with them, whether it's a week later, a month later, 2 months later. It's follow up with your people, because I've had people join other people's teams or join under other people because they were on my chicken list and I was too afraid to reach out to them. So I kind of wanted to mention that as well.
And you're absolutely right. Like a lot of times people just get busy. And so we see like, oh, they read the message, but they didn't respond back. They must not want this. And we, you know, can go, oh, you know, and really it's, oh, they read the message and they were excited, but then a kid needed something, or they had to, make dinner or whatever, they fell asleep, like whatever the case may be. And so then, in Messenger, other stuff pops up and you just kind of forget. And then you think, oh, well, now then they could be thinking, well, gosh, now it's been like 4 days. Maybe she doesn't want to talk to me about this again, and so it's just so important to be like, hey, like, you're so busy that I know you need these products so you can have the continued energy to keep up with this busy lifestyle, because I know you have these goals for that and things. And yes, I would have to agree, like, your posting is very inspirational. You do a lot of like quotes, but you don't just stick just a quote up there. You talk about how that's impacted your life and your journey, and you share that with the world. And I think that's really important too. And then people see you, and they see you as a mom, and they see you as a PT, and they see you as a wife. And then they also see you sharing this other thing that you love, because you often post about how much you love your yoga, and how much you love your kids and your family. And so you're not just Plexus. And I think you do an awesome job of not putting a lot of product pictures up unless it's with you. Because I think those product pictures can just get flung, just scrolled right past. But when it's something that's talking about you, it's much, much more attractive, like you were talking about. So I totally agree. Yes. And then you also were talking to me too about kind of, wow, short posts, like something that's really exciting. So tell us a little bit more how you do one that's a little shorter, but definitely impactful.
Yeah, so
this is so natural to you. So
oh gosh. I try to keep it short and sweet, because I think people, they don't want to read all that. And so I try to keep it short and sweet, and I try to cut out words that don't need to be there. So, and when I'm trying to post, if I don't think it's going to wow somebody, then I try not to post it. I don't want to just throw something junky up there just to throw something up there. So I don't know how I necessarily keep it short and sweet, but I think keeping it short and sweet keeps people actually reading it. Because how often I see stuff from people that I freaking adore and love, and it's still too long for me to read. And these people I adore. And so, yeah, I think keeping it short and sweet is kind of key too for the posts. And another thing that I do too is I read a lot of personal growth books. I have like a stack of them. I do the book clubs, and even if I can't necessarily jump on the team call, like right when it's starting or whatever, when I'm reading my books, I'm highlighting, I'm writing in the margins, ooh, this is a good post idea. This is this. And then I go back if I'm like wanting some inspiration. It's like, oh, well, like, why don't I look at this book and see if there's anything of value that I can offer to other people? And so I do that a lot too. And that helps to inspire me as well with my posting. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me just based on my posts. I think I figured out like 18% of people on my team were quote unquote cold messages. And I was telling Elizabeth, of course, like, I don't think I've had the greatest success with just cold messages to strangers, because I think Cody did a video about that a while back, and she's like, no, you got to get to know these people. You don't just like puke Plexus all over them. But if I notice that somebody is liking a bunch of my posts, I can kind of tell that they're interested in things. Then I will send them a message. I kind of wrote it down here, but hey, I noticed you like my Plexus post. I appreciate the likes and comments because they help for my post to get seen. They help me to help others. Do you know anyone who can benefit from better energy, weight loss, improved skin, allergies, et cetera, et cetera. So just list X, Y, and Z. Or I say, could you benefit from X, Y, and Z? Or do you know someone that could benefit from this financial opportunity? Would you like more info? And so I have it, for me, I'm a little more comfortable and I have it easier in if someone likes my posts. But that doesn't mean I don't cold message people too. I mean, cold messaging is what got me on the cruise ship too. So I just kind of wanted to give a little example of that as well. But I do kind of try to keep it short, because I know when I first started sharing Plexus as well, I was writing so much, and I think the shorter the better. And I think using voicemails is really important, especially when people start asking about how much things cost. I leave a voicemail. Oh my gosh, these products are so affordable. It's just $34.95 to join, and so on and so forth. So I think the voicemails are key, because otherwise people just are kind of scrolling past it, especially if you're writing this big long explanation of things. I just offer the ambassador option and explain how affordable it is too. So, and voicemails are awesome for that.
For sure.
I try to get people on the phone as much as possible.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have 5 minutes? It takes 5 minutes for me to tell you a little bit about it. And I think getting people on the phone is important too. So I've had some people who I get on the phone and they still have to think about it. They're not necessarily going to join right away, but they might call me like 20 minutes later and they're ready to join, and then I can quickly walk them through it too. And then you can get the process set up pretty well too in terms of subscriptions and everything, although that new thing that they're launching in November should help with turning subscriptions on as well. But I think being on the phone is key to just getting to know people too, and for them to know that you care about them. You know, one of the rock stars on my team right now, I don't know if she's on this call, but Kylie, her and I spoke on the phone for so long just about all the issues she was dealing with, and she knew that I cared about her and that I had a heart for her. So so that's just something to say as well. And just that, yeah, you reap what you sow. One of my other rock stars, Abby, I think I messaged her in March, and she had no interest in the products. And I looked back at the messages, and I think it was, I just randomly every maybe couple months would message her and say, you know, she actually sent me a referral. So, hey, thanks for the referral. I really appreciate it. And eventually when she was ready to join, she messaged me because she knew that I was genuine, that I was passionate. I've also had some people message me who wanted to join my team who had family members selling Plexus, but they believed in my passion and they liked my posts. They like that I wasn't spamming people and that I was really sharing my heart. So I think it goes a long way to be consistent with that and to just be yourself. People are watching you even when you know they're not. I've had people join my team within a split second that I never even talked to about Plexus because they'd been watching my journey for so long. They're just like, I'm ready. Oh, awesome. You know, that doesn't happen all that often, but I think there's just something to be said about that too. So
for sure. And I love what you said. A couple of things I just want to touch back on review, but giving those specific examples. So whether it's someone that you're talking to and they are either saying, no, not yet, and so you're asking for a referral, or it's someone, hey, thanks for liking my comment. It really meant a lot to me, or liking my post. It really meant a lot to me. I'm really happy to be sharing this opportunity and products. Do you know anyone who suffers with this, and this? You know, because like you and I, we never had weight loss as something that we needed, but yet I still mention it all the time. And not everyone has, you know, is nursing a baby or whatever. So it's so good to list those things out so that people see that the products and the opportunity is for everyone. Everyone that is breathing and has blood needs these products and needs gut health. So that's really, really important to do that. I have found a lot of success with that too. And then in the referral asking too, you know, when asking for referrals, kind of listing out a few things. And so Erin and I are both PTs, and in our PT school, we kept hearing over and over, keep it simple, stupid. So KISS, the KISS, keep it simple, stupid was what we said in PT school. And then that popped up a few weeks ago in Pink Power, and it was keep it simple, sister, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my goodness. And it made so much sense because I didn't want to be telling my Plexus team, you know, keep it simple, stupid. But like the keep it simple sister was good, except I have my ambassadors on my team too. But anyway, I think that's just really, really, really key when we're helping people and we're dealing with people and communicating with people. Really, you know, we, especially some of us that are more green or have that green, we want to like, but it's so good because of this, and we want to give all this information, and people are like, I don't care. Like, I just want to know that it works, you know? So simpler is better, and asking those questions so you can get a feel if they want that detailed information, then you send that to them. Otherwise, just really keeping it simple. Oh, Rochelle said it's keep it super simple. There we go.
I like keep it simple, sister, better.
I don't know. They're all good.
That's fun.
Anyway,
But yeah.
Getting off track. And then tell us a little bit how you add your people to gut health and happiness. So tell us how you do that and how you manage tagging in that group and stuff.
Yeah, so when I message somebody, of course, about Plexus and they show a little bit of interest, I tell them, hey, I'm adding you to this page. It's really informative. And I tell them how they can use the search bar to find things. And then I tag them. So I have somebody on my team right now who I was kind of tagging her in things every now and then for months and just reaching out to her. She would be writing posts up about, oh, my anxiety is just terrible and anxiety this and that. And I'm like, girl, I can help you. And so I would tag her in things in gut health, or I would send her articles. So of course you can use the search bar to send somebody an article about gut health and anxiety. And I sent her a couple articles. Hey, I'm thinking about you. And again, it's just because I care about her. I'm following up with her because I care about her and I want her to feel how I feel. It's not because it's like, oh, I'm like this money grubbing person that wants you to give me $25 or $50 or whatever. It's, hey, I care about you. So I think people can really sense when you're genuine, and they appreciate that too. And some people, they want you to like screenshot stuff from gut health rather than tag them and things because they're a little more shy about that. So I have found too, if I tag somebody in something and they're not really receptive, I'll send them a message and say, hey, I tagged you. Would you prefer that I screenshot it in here, or would you like to be tagged? And I've had some people say, oh, I'd actually prefer a screenshot. And so that's kind of like a little heads up on that too.
That's really good advice. And then you also can tag someone but then erase their last name and then
yeah,
their first name. And that way they get the notification and they know that they're the Erin that's there, but not everyone would know. And I like, because you often will say you'll tag someone and then explain why you tagged them. Like, this is a great article on blah, blah, blah that we talked about, or, oh, check this out. I think this might really speak to you or something. Like, you don't just send them a tag. You actually put a little blurb in there. And I really love that you do that. I think that's so personal. And that's really, it speaks to them a lot. And then you also limit how much you tag them, because I don't know, only tag them in a couple, because you don't want to over tag people and then have them go, what in the world? She just tagged me in 10 things. When in the world am I going to read these? What, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I also ask people, I'm like, hey, do you know how to save this? Because if I'm tagging somebody in a video and they have how often is someone going to be able to watch a video right away when you tag them? And a lot of people have no idea they can save things on Facebook. So I'm making sure that they know how and telling them how, or how to add it to a collection or something like that, and just doing a little bit of educating so they can look back on it later. So, yeah. And then people on my team that I've never even taught that to, they have watched me do that, and I see them doing the same thing. And I'm like, this is great. Like I didn't even have to, technically maybe I sort of taught it, but I never had to have a discussion with them because they've just seen me do it, and they're watching what their leader does, and that's what they do. So.
And that's how you communicated to them. So they're like, oh, that was easy. I can do that too.
Right. Yeah. I think too, something that I've learned, because people are like recruiting, they're probably wondering how the heck do you seal the deal or something like that. And I think just in terms of just keeping the conversation going, saying, hey, is this something you're interested in? If you send them a video, maybe they don't get to it right away. Hey, did you have a chance to watch that video yet? I've learned to just ask people questions, because if you're like, hey, let me know what you think of this, you're just going to get crickets. But if you ask people a question, they're more inclined to answer. So I just wanted to throw that up there too, just in terms of the recruitment aspect, because I don't think we talked about that. But
yes, that's so good. And it's so good, like asking the question so that we can relate it back to them and their goals. So, just like in the PT realm for us, like, okay, this is your goal. You want to decrease your shoulder pain so you can go back to bow hunting or something like that. Okay. So then when they're doing this crazy exercise that why it's good, you can then relate that back to them. And so with Plexus, like, wait, this is why these products are best for your goal. And this is why detox is going to help you get to your goal, and just continuing that education process, but relating it back to what's in it for them. And then just like we have to somehow ask our patients, like, kind of dig deep a little bit to really get down to what it is that their goal is, or what their problem is, or their complaint is. We do the same thing with our health journeys and our business journeys with our Plexus people. So asking lots of questions is super awesome. Yes.
Yes, and remembering that a no isn't necessarily a no, it's just not right now. So timing is everything. So I do have a lot of people that, they're like, oh, I'm just being pushy. And I just want to reiterate that you're not being pushy, you're just being persistent, and you're being persistent because you care about them, because they're your friend or your family member, or they're maybe somebody you don't know that well, but you have a heart for them and you want to help them. So it's not being pushy by following up. Like, yes, you're not going to message the person every single day. Hey, did you watch the video? Did you watch the video?
Right.
But having some kind of a system. So I tend to write people's names down, and I'll kind of periodically go through a checklist. I'm sure everybody has their system, but that works for me. I just do that in my planner.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know we talked too, so kind of to shift gears just a tiny bit, but along just this next step is that you really help people get to silver. So you've helped them, like written up posts for them, written up messages for them, and said, here, you can send this. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have a couple of rock stars on my team, and I was telling Elizabeth about this. I'm like, I don't know if I've really done anything that special. I have one rock star on my team who I think she totally surprised me. She blew me out of the water, but I think she just saw my passion and knew that she could rock it too. So Abby, if you're on this call, you're a rock star. And that's kind of, she just kind of went with it and rolled with it. And then I have other people who are like, oh, I don't know if I could share this Plexus thing. Is this for me? And I think that's how Kylie felt initially. And I said, girl, you can do this. Let me show you how. And Lauren was supporting her in our 3-way chat. And we both were just giving her ideas and examples. And she just rocked with it and rolled with it. So I think just, and I've got some new people on my team now who are sharing. And I just said, hey, you're already experiencing this awesome thing, or hey, you want to get your products paid for. What do you feel about saying this? And I'll just write up the post, put it in the chat, and say, why don't you post this to your wall with a selfie? And I'll just give them the words, because I think people don't realize just how simple it is, and it's good for them to kind of see it. I think Brooke Hemingway is the one that suggested that originally, and it's a really good suggestion. Obviously, she's very successful, so.
Yes, Brooke Hemingway is so successful. Oh my gosh, she's Diamond Sapphire. She has 6 kids. Her husband's an ER doc. Like, they're a busy family. She always talks about how she lives an active lifestyle. So for sure, if she can do this, we can do it, and I love that. And, we've been doing this for a while, so we're like, hey, just say this, it's easier for us to do that, but really kind of taking that step back and keeping it simple for them is really, really helpful. So it's really awesome that you take the extra time to do that for your people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I have somebody who recently shared, who I said, hey, do you want me? She said, hey, I think I'm ready to share. And I said, well, do you want me to help you write your post? And I got crickets. And like a day later, she wrote the most amazing post from her heart, and it was the best thing ever. And so that just made me really happy. And I've had other people too who just, like Bonnie, who came in and just started rocking the business, and I had no idea she was going to be rocking the business, and she wanted to run. I'm like, heck yeah, I'll run with you. And I just supported her, and so did you guys and Lauren and everybody else. So it's just a team effort, and I guess I don't know if I have anything else valuable to offer besides that, but I think those tips have helped my people. So
yeah. And I think too, just getting really involved with the 3-way chats and getting your people to participate in those three-way chats. You've seen a lot of success with that too. And you've noticed a shift in your business too over the few months that, or not the several months, but have noticed that, oh, this is really cool. It is really helpful to have that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So.
Yes. Awesome. Well, it is 10:02, so we are right on time. If anyone has any questions, wants to stick them in the chat really quick, go ahead and type them in there, or unmute. You guys can unmute and talk. Absolutely. Hello. And yeah, get some questions out, and we'll just give it a few minutes. Otherwise, we will let y'all go. So fun. Great. I'm just going to peek in the chat in case anything popped up earlier, but I wasn't reading all of those during the whole call here. All right. I'm going to stop the recording, but if anybody still wants to add something or talk or chat, I'll stay on for a minute.